What's up, everybody? Thanks for clicking this video. Thanks for tuning into my channel. My name is Simon Hill, Black American from Louisiana, coming to you live from Budapest, Hungary. And today is January 2nd, 2026, about 5:30 p.m. where I'm at right now. This is a live call-in show. Come in and join the conversation as we do a live reaction to this short film that's been requested by one of my longtime followers, Nelson Moreno. He wants to jump in right now. Nelson, come on in, enter the chat room. And everybody else is welcome to join the conversation to say whatever it is you want to say. So, our guy Nelson is up in here. What's good, Nelson? How you been, man? You can unmute anytime. Hopefully it's working for you. I hope all of y'all had a happy new year. Hope all of you out there had a blessed Christmas too. Mine was very good. I was out there in Turkey for about 8 days or so. Soaked up some sun, met some family, ate for free. That's the most beautiful thing. Turkey got some amazing food, incredible food. The vegetables do not taste the same out here in Europe. Compared to Turkey, the vegetables taste like shit here. I bit a tomato. That tomato bit me back. Tomato was juicy as hell. I felt the tomato's lifeblood. They got all sorts of fruit trees everywhere. I saw this orange tree. I shook the orange tree. The orange fell down. And that orange tasted like boo-boo. It was very sour. It was very sour. But still, it was refreshing to see all that fresh fruit everywhere up in the place in Turkey. And, yeah, man, Turkey is still Turkey. I should release some videos, man. I got a lot of videos that I need to drop from last year, like my time in Norway, my time in Turkey. I might do that this evening because I keep on procrastinating. That's my number one problem, and that's something we're going to try to get rid of in 2026. Less procrastinating, more action. Less procrastination, more action. You feel me? If you ever want to jump in the live stream, anybody can. Anyway, without wasting any time, we're going to be watching this documentary, Can't Get You Out of My Head. I have no idea what it's about. The comment section is not promising. I scroll down. Well, first, let's look at the description. All right, there's a long description here. This was published in February 21st, 2022, and it has over 150,000 views, right? We are living through strange days. Across Britain, Europe, and America, societies have become split and polarized. There is anger at the inequality and ever-growing corruption, and a widespread distrust of the elites. I think we can all agree on that. Into this has come the pandemic that has brutally dramatized those divisions. But despite the chaos, there is paralysis, a sense that no one knows how to escape from this. Can't Get You Out of My Head tells how we got to this place, and why both those in power and we find it so difficult to move on. At its heart is the strange story of what happened when people's inner feelings got mixed up with power in the age of individualism, how the hopes and dreams and uncertainties inside people's minds met the decaying forces of old power in Britain, America, Russia, and China. What resulted was a block not just in the society, but also inside our heads that stops us imagining anything else than this. Okay, I like that description. I mean, it's very interesting. I think, it's basically another summation of neoliberalism. But anyway, in episode 1, it surveys cultural events leading up to the 1960s revolutions, the failure of the British to shed their feelings of supremacy in the wake of the fall of the British Empire, the political crisis in China in the wake of the Great Leap Forward, the beginnings of Discordianism, and the rise of conspiracy thinking in the United States. The common theme tying the episode together is the rise of individualism, which, while driven by desires for emancipation, can be controlled. The title of the episode is taken from the Chinese film Blood on Wolf Mountain, in which Jing Qing, credited as Ling Ping, appeared. Okay. I mean, that's the description. Going to the comments section is not promising. Okay. First comment, weird. The next comment, what is this nonsense? The next comment, 75 minutes of nonsense, no structure, no clear thought to follow, just a vague idea about people can be manipulated, plastered with stories and bad music. Okay. Here we have 30 to 33 minutes. Adam Curtis defending a Jewish criminal who brought in immigrants and porn to England and says he was a good guy. LMAO, leftism, not even once. Okay. You know what? I'm not even going to judge it by the comment section because the internet is all right-wing. We have to remember, most people are very stupid. Most people are very reactionary. Most people are very hateful, unfortunately, in this world we live in. So, of course, the comment section might not like it if it's very radical and left-wing. So, let's find out for ourselves. I'm going to press play, pausing occasionally. I got it on 1.5 speed to avoid copyright and also to blow through it very fast. So, hopefully you can hear it too, and I will be reacting. Let's go. Shout out David Graeber, great anarchist, great writer.
We're living through strange days. Across Britain, Europe and America, societies have become split and polarised, not just in politics, but across the whole culture. There is anger at the inequality and the ever-growing corruption, and a widespread distrust of the elites. Yet at the same time, there is a paralysis, a sense that no one knows how to escape from this. Even in America, where there is now hope with the new president, there are also fears that despite the growing crisis, the system will just return to normal. This paralysis is also fueled by a technology driven by the aim of giving you today another version of what you had yesterday.
Before we continue, I just want to make sure the audio is working. I don't have anybody up in here, so I just want to make sure the audio is working.
Shout out David Graeber, great anarchist, great writer. Living through strange days.
Yeah. All right, it's working well. Sorry for the interruption. That won't happen again. Just wanted to check. Let's go here.
And never a different tomorrow. These films are a history of how we got to this place, and why both those in power and we find it so difficult to move on. They will trace different forces across the world that have led to now, not just in the West, but in China and Russia as well. And they are told in a different way. They are an emotional history of what went on inside the heads of all kinds of people. Because in the age of the individual, what you felt and what you wanted and what you dreamed of were going to become the driving force across the world. And to understand the present, you have to go back and see what happened when those hopes and dreams and uncertainties inside people's minds met the much older forces of power. Often power that was decaying and desperate to keep its ascendancy.
Okay, I did not expect Tupac to be up in this thing. One thing I have to say, though, I don't know where the documentary is going to go, but when he starts talking about what exists in people's heads decided the fate of the modern world, is essentially paraphrasing what I heard. To me, that comes across as idealistic. It comes across as putting emphasis on the ideas that people have in their head, rather than their material conditions that causes them to react in certain ways. While I do believe, to some degree, that our thoughts, ideologies, beliefs have great influence on society at large, I believe our material conditions, our relations to the means of production, and our economic models are a greater way of determining how we act and how we will act. You know what I mean? But I'm going to continue here.
These strange days did not just happen. We, and those in power, created them together.
Nothing ever
In the late 1950s, as the British Empire was falling apart, there was a growing sense that something was badly wrong under the surface. There was a feeling of unease, that despite all the reforms after the Second World War and the welfare state, the old forms of power had not gone away. And neither had the violence and the corruption that had always been a part of that power.
The course opens with a traditional reading of names, and the wide experience available to the bank is apparent.
Mr. Cobbold, Mr. Miners, Sir Charles Hambro,
Senior Director, Merchant.
The bankers in the City of London had been at the very heart of the empire.
Mr. Kendrick,
In 1958, two of the most powerful of them, Lord Kindersley and William Keswick, were accused of using insider information to make millions for themselves.
Lord Kindersley,
Chairman of Rolls-Royce, Merchant Banker.
Mr. Keswick,
Hudson's Bay Company, Far Eastern Merchant.
The evidence against them was very strong. But when Keswick was shown the evidence, he dismissed it with a phrase that became notorious. It is difficult, he said, to remember conversations one has while shooting on a grouse moor. A government inquiry said the two men were obviously innocent. At the same time, reports had started to come back from one of the last parts of the empire, Kenya, that seemed to show that those in charge had gone out of control. They had been fighting a liberation movement called the Mau Mau. The report said that hundreds of thousands of Kenyans had been put into special camps where they were going to be psychologically adjusted. The British were trying to manipulate what their chief psychologist called the African mind. But what then happened in the camps turned into a frenzied madness. The British used mass torture and killing as they desperately tried to hold on to.
All right, this is a interesting setup in this documentary so far. I just want to check on my guy Nelson. Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
All right, good. I can hear you as well. How you been, man?
I've been doing okay. How you been doing, man?
I'm
Happy
all right, man.
Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that good stuff. 2026, we about to get rich.
Can you like allow me to send messages on this group so I can show you pictures of my Christmas?
Okay. All right, man. Sure, man. Let me change some host tools. Yeah, you could send stuff in the chat if you want.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let's do the pop-out chat. Let's see. I want to try to get it. Well, yeah, just send it over. We'll take a look. But I'm going to keep on watching this documentary and then give some commentary. But do you have any initial comments you want to share about the beginning when he's talking about the British Empire and these bankers who are corrupt?
No, not really. I was trying to figure out how to get inside the meeting. I don't know if my internet is something back.
Okay.
So now I'm going to go to my room. The internet is a bit weaker there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try if you can listen there to me. So I can watch on my TV, you watching in the
Okay.
the show.
Is this your dog? You got your dog a Christmas sweater? That's so cute. Your dog got a Christmas sweater, I think. Let's see.
Yeah. Not my dog, but yeah.
Oh, I couldn't see. I'm opening the picture now. That's a pig? What is that?
It's a dog. It's a bulldog.
Oh, but it's okay. It looks like a pig from this picture.
Can you hear me good? I'm in my room right now.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, it's all good. What else is here? What else you got? Damn, you got mad Christmas presents, son. Damn.
It's a big family.
Damn, okay, y'all living it up for real, balling. That's fire. Mad sacks on sacks on sacks. Y'all not playing. I've never seen a Muslim family give this much on Christmas.
This ain't no Muslim family, man.
MashaAllah, Alhamdulillah. Look at all this. So many gifts. Y'all got plastic bags, man. Damn. Hey, man, how do I get in the dope business?
It ain't how you think it is, man. It ain't sweet.
Okay. I see somebody running with a lot of ass.
Nah, come on, man. That's my brother's wife, man.
I'm sorry, my bad.
It's okay.
What y'all eating? What y'all over? Is that empanadas and cake? Y'all niggas eating empanadas and cake, carrot cake. That shit.
Like, my brother got out of jail this year, so we made a big Christmas, you know.
That's fire. Hallelujah, alhamdulillah. So y'all popping bottles, but this table setup is crazy. It looks like y'all got crazy glue, some empanadas, carrot cake, and it looks like pop from like the 1950s. That's a hard ass can. That soda can look hard as hell.
It's a mini Coke.
It's a mini Coke, but that shit look like it's in
Yeah.
steel, like it's in a titanium can. I'm sorry. And then what is this? What is this? I've never seen a cake like this.
That's I don't know. There was a bunch. There was more food, but they hadn't set the table yet. That was just like snacks.
I see. Is this your little boy
That
right
was
here?
that was like a chocolate cake. There was like a chocolate cake.
That's a chocolate cake. Okay, Fire Christmas.
Yeah.
Fire Christmas. Damn, this is mashallah. This is the way Ramadan should always be.
When's Ramadan? When do you guys do Ramadan?
I think Ramadan is in March. Mashallah, beautiful.
But it doesn't hit like Christmas, right? Because Christmas you got that cold ass winter.
Yeah.
So, like you're like more how do you call it? Snuggling.
Yeah, more snug. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, y'all up there living, man. This shit look like the Cosby House. This look.
It's a big house.
Yeah.
My brother's house.
Okay. All right.
It was not anymore.
What you mean not anymore? Weren't you just here a few days ago?
No, because he's moving out.
Oh, he's moving out. Okay. Yeah, y'all living, man. Damn, bro.
Those are my two nieces. That's my brother.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. Hey, y'all rich for real. You balling. Why you over here fucking with my broke ass? Man, what did J. Cole say? I hate rich niggas. God damn it. Because I ain't never had a lot, damn it. Man, y'all living for real. Yeah, my Christmas was just in Turkey eating kebab.
That's a fire. I've had bad Christmas, man, with no gift.
A bad Christmas with no gifts.
T-shirt for a gift.
Man, don't you hate it when niggas come home from prison and then they be acting like Jesus back? That's crazy.
That's true though.
This man came back from prison and like everybody got gifts. Oh, now we got gifts, huh? Last year I was home and wasn't no gifts. Wasn't no gifts when I was home.
Yeah, they came out real magnanimous.
I know, right? Everybody got super magnanimous right now. It's crazy. But anyway, Merry Christmas to you, man. I didn't take that many pictures.
I hope you had a good Christmas, you and Acty, man.
Yeah, we did. And
Did you guys eat a lot?
yeah, man, I gained a lot of weight. Gained a lot of weight in Turkey. You can't help but gain weight in Turkey.
That Christmas weight, you gotta kill it in the gym, man.
Yeah, I know, right? I got a treadmill back here. I bought a new treadmill. You can't see it, but I've been using it for the new year. But we good. But let me give a shout out to Andre Dare. What's up, Andre? All right. But yeah. Anyway. What else?
New Year's, how was your New Year's, man?
It was good, man. It was good. We just, it was dry December. We didn't drink all December.
Yeah.
So we just popped that bottle on January. All right. By the way, for all the white supremacists and trolls and anybody else who's going to come in here, you're going to get your ass reported. And plus, your real name is going to be up here, too. So, act as you wish. Act on your own accord. But let's jump back to this documentary, shall we?
The government in London denied all the accusations, but the rumours of violence and horror continued. And what had also not gone away was the fear and hatred inside the minds of many of the British, of the others, the people the British had ruled over. who were now coming to what they had been told was the homeland.
Now listen carefully to this Indian's conversation with a white barber when he entered a saloon with a BBC radio microphone in his pocket.
No.
What's the matter?
No.
Anything wrong?
Yes.
Boss, what is it?
I said no.
Well, I'd like to know what is the matter. Well, it's another half an hour yet.
Confirm now.
Well, you can put the clothes on outside on the window, did you?
Will you clear off?
Look, if you give me any reason why you must be the matter, then I shall go if you to tell me.
I told you I'm closed.
You're not close. You ain't close yet.
Well, I am to you.
Damn. Shit. That shit is hard as hell to see. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've experienced some shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got the video on my channel where I was at the bar and the lady is serving everybody but me. Nobody black at the bar gets a drink. But shit, it's hard to see that type of discrimination. You know what I mean? That's crazy, bro. Damn.
That's that European racism.
That nigga just said, no. Like he was talking to a dog. That white man said, no.
Yeah, like when a dog gets inside the house or something.
Yes.
Oh, get out. Oh.
That's crazy. And, bruh, like, racism makes no sense. The man is Indian. He hairy as hell. You a fucking barber. Do your fucking job. Like, how is racism making any sense? Like, cut this nigga's hair. Oh, man. Dog. That was crazy.
I don't know.
I've never seen something.
Can you just, like, tell me the time you're watching the documentary so I can, like, link up? So I can, time sync?
Yeah, I'm at 8:04. I'm at 8:04.
Just give me a sec.
Yeah. Damn, that's...
Okay, when you get to 8:06, just tell me so I can just press play.
Yeah. And by the way, I never want British people to tell me there was never any racism in the UK. Boy, what the fuck? What was
There's
that?
still racism in the UK.
Of course. But I hate when people always say, oh, in my country, there's no racism. Or they say this shit, we don't care about color, we only care about money and class. Shut the fuck up. That's always a lie. But,
I hear that. The class one, I heard that. I heard that sometimes. That's really stupid and like whatever.
How'd you find this documentary?
Oh man, I totally forgot.
You forgot?
Like I remember I was watching somehow. I don't know how, but I found out about another documentary this guy made. Somehow I found out about it.
Okay.
And I really liked that one. It was really good. So I was like, damn, let me check out more of this stuff.
All right. Just so we're not pausing and stopping all the time, what we're going to do, we're going to do it every 10 minutes, right? Starting at the 20 mark. So we're going to watch until the 20-minute mark and then pause and discuss anything we've seen and any comments. So that way we're not just stuck on each part. So I'm going to press play now.
Those who came from the Empire to Britain were shocked.
Wait, what'd you say?
When you reach 8 and 6, tell me so I can just press play.
Yeah, I'm at 8:07. I'm pressing play right now.
Okay.
By the strange country they found. Michael de Freitas had come from Trinidad. He had grown up with a picture of a strong and confident homeland at the centre of the empire. Instead, what he found was what seemed to him a sad and frightened country.
You must remember that when we came to this country, we were not traveling to a foreign country. I was taught when I was a young man that my country, Trinidad, was an extension of this one. We were weaned on the concept of the empire. When I was a young boy, I stood in 90 degrees of sun, day after day, and sang all kinds of silly things like God Save the Queen, Land of Hope and Glory, Britannia Rule the Waves, with the greatest of fervour, and believed every word of it. To come here and discover that not only wasn't I not travelling to the capital of the whole thing, which we were led to believe was so, but in actual fact we weren't wanted, has been a very shattering blow. Many people in this country who think that we are very hateful are so wrong.
You see, this is the great mystery. When you came here, you say you found you weren't wanted. Why then did you stay? Why did you choose to stay here?
This was the heartland of the whole thing, and one hoped, against hope, that what one saw.
I said, come on in. I will not open myself up this way.
Mao Zedong's wife was going mad. She was called Jiang Qing. She lived alone, surrounded by pet monkeys, and nurses who she was convinced were conspiring against her. Those in charge of the revolution in China had completely marginalized her. She was too dangerous, they thought, to be allowed anywhere near her husband or power. They had even sent her to Moscow to be locked in a sanatorium with real and imagined illnesses. But now, Jiang Qing's husband was facing disaster. The revolution had led to horror. 30 million people had died from starvation in the past 3 years. The other leaders wanted to get rid of him. And suddenly, he called for her. Jiang Qing was an extraordinary person. She believed in nothing except the power of her will to shape reality. She had begun as an actor in films in Shanghai in the 1930s. The other actors looked down at her for her driving ambition.
She liked to be on the top, you see, always. She's a very ambitious woman, and she liked to be a top, and she plays with, with all the directors, cameramans, make them, pay attention, you see, and interest in her, so she can have better part of the film. She married a quite famous writer called Tang Na, and after marriage, she doesn't feel very satisfied about her husband because her husband is not a very, very strong man, and she left him, and he jumped to the river, and then the water was very cold, so he jumped up again, you see. So.
You mean he tried to commit suicide?
Yes, he's trying to commit suicide.
After the suicide attempt, Jiang Qing wrote a long letter to her husband. It said she was leaving him, and also explained why with an extraordinary openness. There were powerful forces inside her, she said, that kept driving her towards fame and power. And it was only those forces that held her together psychologically. Nothing must hold them back. It ended, "What matters is that you remember me as a woman who never caves in before anyone, and who will never bear to be treated as inferior to men." But Jiang Qing failed to become a star. The men who ran the studios scorned her ambition. Her most famous part was as a supporting actor in a film called Bloodshed on Wolf Mountain. The star of the film was called Li Lini. Jiang Qing was convinced that Li was trying to upstage her all the time. The camp was an intense, exciting place, and many of the young revolutionaries had affairs. Sex was called undisciplined guerrilla warfare. But when Jiang Qing started an affair with the leader, Mao Zedong, that was different. She was scorned by the other revolutionaries as a social climbing upstart. Then it got worse. Mao announced that he was going to divorce his wife and marry Jiang Qing. The other communist leaders were horrified. They saw Jiang Qing as a dangerous, destructive force, because she was driven by a fierce, radical individualism that threatened their collective dream. In the communist structure, everyone was part of a unit. She insisted, "I am a unit of one." No one could work out what to do. They even went and asked Stalin in Moscow for his advice. He said, "Let them marry." But Jiang Qing must sign a document promising to refrain from political activity for 30 years. She signed, but she was furious with the men who now controlled her. They even tracked down and destroyed prints of her own films, because they didn't fit with the image of Mao's wife. Her fury grew. Jiang Qing wanted power on her own behalf, as an individual. And she wanted revenge. Now, 20 years later, in 1959, Mao was facing disaster, and he was calling for her. In America, the idea of individualism had become central to the politics of the Cold War. Because it was what defined the United States against the collective ideology of Russia. At the heart of it was the picture of a strong, confident individual living an independent life in the new giant suburbs outside the old cities. But there was a weakness, because the people in the suburbs were alone. And in their isolation, away from the old communities, they started to become fearful and lost. Out of these fears came a paranoia that was fueled by groups on the extreme right, like the John Birch Society.
To the Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
They said that the American government had been taken over by hidden groups, controlled by the communists. And at the end of the 1950s, a theory spread like wildfire through the suburbs that President Eisenhower himself had really been put into power by the communists. He is a dedicated conscious agent of the Russians, the head of the John Birch Society said. That conclusion is based on detailed evidence so extensive that it is beyond any reasonable doubt. But this paranoia was not a new thing. An influential political scientist called Richard Hofstadter published an article that caused a sensation. He said, the first settlers had come from Europe to America to flee from the corruption of power in the old world. But although they had got away from the old power, they hadn't got away from their suspicious minds. And alone, out in the vast wilderness of the new America, that led them to imagining dark, hidden conspiracies in their own government, far away in Washington.
All right, so we're at the 20-minute mark. I'm going to give my little commentary on the past 10 minutes or so that I saw. I like the part where the British guy was interviewing that brother from Trinidad or Jamaica, I forgot exactly, and he was talking about his experience coming to the UK, and he said, you know, I thought this was my country because we were told back in Jamaica and Trinidad, this is our country. We're a part of the great British Empire. And then I show up and I find out we're not wanted. And then the interviewer asks him, like, why did you stay? And he said, well, this is the crux of it all. This is the place. This is the motherland. Like, you can't tell me all my life that I belong somewhere. Then I come here and you say that I don't belong. And I think that goes to show, like, how nationhood identity is all bullshit. People like to say, oh, what a real American is, what a real European is, what any of that shit is. Like, it constantly changes. Human identity is so flexible and in flux. But I don't know, Nelson, any comments on anything?
Oh yeah, that guy is a recurring character, and he's one of my favorites. He's very you don't know what's going to happen to him, and I can't wait to see your reaction to the twists.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'll keep an eye out on what happens to him.
What did you think of Mao's wife?
Yeah, I was about to talk about that. So I think what I'm getting from this film is like it's about individualism and how individualism can be a positive thing and a negative thing. And what I got from the story of Mao's wife is that for women, you have a limited individualism, right? And I think all identities have a limitedness to how much a person can express their individuality, which is why, like, for example, they say you're black, but you're not acting black, right? Or you're outside of the bounds of blackness. And the same applies for women, right? But her thing is like she wanted to be independent, free, not held down by men. And then when they transition and talk about how America, we take individualism to the extreme, where we're living in these isolated suburbs and away from each other, we then make community that's so intense and so ideologically driven. I thought that was a very interesting contrast, but what do you think?
I think we're seeing like the birth of hyper individualism, right? Because individualism was like a thing that was sold to us, you know. So we're seeing like the birth of hyper individualism. We're seeing colonial past, and we're seeing the decaying of an empire. We're seeing this in the West, now in the East, in China. As of now, we're seeing a hyper, literally a very single-minded, hyper-individual person in Zhao Jing.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing her how she's maneuvering her own will and ambition in a supposedly collectivist kind of system.
Yeah. It's interesting how we started this live stream off with you showing pictures of your family and stuff like that. And like, you know, I wanted to ask you, in Portugal, do you feel like there's this hyper individualism like they're expressing in, you know, the documentary about America? Because from the outside looking in, what you just showed is like a window into like a more communal family type of world.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think you can say about that, like anywhere there's internet really in this, like I think it's super hyper individualistic. You know?
Let's see.
It depends on your personality also, right? But yeah.
I got you. Let's keep it rolling with this documentary. Happy New Year to everybody.
What time are you on? What's your time thing?
Oh, I'm at 20 minutes, 13 seconds. By the way, I'm watching it on 1.5 to avoid copyright strikes. So mine was...
You're good. That stuff is for free all over YouTube, that documentary. I don't think you're going to get a strike.
Man, my channel, you know, they deleted some of my other videos, like World White Hate. You know what I mean? They're not playing with me.
Well, that has more... like inflammatory type of stuff, I think.
That's true. We gonna upload it, by the way. We're bringing it back up for anybody who wants to know what happened to World White Hate. We're putting it back up soon, but I'm gonna press play.
But if for the next episodes, because it's still so a good piece of cinema, if possible, if you could like do it on regular time. But I don't know if that's possible because there's music and so forth.
I mean, it's like an hour and 14 minutes. You know what I mean? And I don't want to.
Each episode, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like 1.5. I think everybody can catch up and follow the speed, and you know what I mean. They'll be fine. Plus, they can watch it themselves. You know what I mean. This is the reaction.
So that's why you're like way ahead of me. You're watching a little bit faster.
Yeah, but I watch everything on YouTube on 2x or 1.7.
2x?
Yeah, I watch everything on YouTube on 2x.
All right, let's go.
I'm gonna go. All right.
One of the first of these, in the early 19th century, said that a secret group from Europe, called the Bavarian Illuminati, were running a giant conspiracy to destroy the world. In reality, the Illuminati had been a utopian movement who wanted to replace religion with reason. But instead, they now became the first of a series of frightening suspicions that fed off the isolation of the settlers in the New World. The paranoia in the suburbs, Hofstadter said, is just part of a much larger darkness built into the very structure of America itself, that was feeding, yet again, on people's separateness and isolation. But in the same suburbs, there was a new movement rising up that was going to confront and challenge these fears. It was driven by a radical individualism that said that you as an individual can shape the world the way you want it to be, not accept what the dark fears tell you it is. It would be one of the main foundations of the counterculture movement that was going to spread throughout the West. But it was just beginning, born out of odd moments across the suburbs of California. One night, Kerry Thornley went with his friend Greg Hill to a bowling alley. They started to discuss reality. Thornley insisted that there was a fixed order to the universe, but Greg said that the universe was chaos, and it was human thought that projected an order onto the chaos.
Sitting around in a bowling alley in 1958, to be exact, somewhere in the vicinity of Whittier, California, and we were discussing philosophy, and we were talking about order and chaos. Greg's theory was that order was projected on the universe, that it didn't exist at all, it was a creation of the human mind, that order was entirely in perception and had nothing to do with what was going on out there in a completely chaotic universe.
Thornley was inspired by this, and together, he and Greg Hill decided to set up a movement dedicated to the idea of chaos. They called it Discordianism. Underlying it was the belief that individuals had the power inside themselves to bring order and meaning to the chaos, not the old systems of power that created the fear and suspicion. But then, an extraordinary coincidence happened that was going to lead Thornley back towards that darkness in America. Thornley was sent to do service with the Marines, and at the camp he met another recruit who seemed to embody the figure of the free, independent individual he so admired, because he refused to bow to the power of the officers. He was called Lee Harvey Oswald, and they became close friends. Thornley had read the novels of Ayn Rand, and he decided he was going to write a novel with Oswald as the central figure, a hero of this new age. But then suddenly, Oswald defected to the Soviet Union, and things became very strange. It seemed that the reality outside was even more chaotic than he had imagined.
It was really a weird experience for me, because I was writing this novel based on Oswald. When Oswald defected to the Soviet Union, I decided to write a novel about a Marine who becomes disenchanted with the U.S. and goes to the Soviet Union. And so it was like the hero, and I didn't like Kennedy. I was extremely anti-Kennedy myself, because I was so much into Ayn Rand, the laissez-faire capitalism, objectivism, and Kennedy was the arch villain of our movement at that time. And it was like the hero of my novel jumped up off the pages of my book and shot the president. And it was very weird.
England, the old structure of power remained intact, and not only in the institutions, but inside people's heads as well. The old attitudes of power were still deeply embedded in the minds of the establishment, who dominated the country. Those in charge demanded obedience, not just from those they governed or employed, but also from their wives. They expected them to submit too. Sandra Paul had grown up in Africa and the Far East. Her father had been a doctor in the Royal Air Force. She came back to England and became a successful model. Then she met Robin Douglas Hume. He was at the heart of the ruling class. His uncle had been Prime Minister.
She was incredibly beautiful. She had a tremendous quality of innocence. And she was, I thought, a vulnerable creature in a highly suspect world, the world of models and fashion, which I despised then, and I despise even more now. And so in a sense, maybe I was trying to rescue her from what I thought was going to be a decline in her character due to her career.
Can you take the leg just that little wider out that way?
really
That's
well
right.
done.
But she was earning considerably more than you were, and presumably this money was useful in setting up your home, so I suppose you could hardly be resentful about it.
I was earning considerably less, yes.
They married, and Robin Douglas Hume insisted that they went to live in the country. Sandra Paul agreed, but she found that he also insisted that she should stop her modelling career and remain in the country while he went to their house in London.
But then eventually, Robin wanted to be in London more, and he didn't really want the routine so much. He wanted to be going out to parties on his own. And when he realised that if he was in London, I would be in London too, this meant that he had to share his life, and he was beginning to want to be just a little independent.
You mean he was getting bored with you?
Yes, probably, because I used to want to know what he'd been doing or where he'd been, and he didn't want to say, and so we'd have a row. But just because I was wanting to know about his life, and he thought that I shouldn't have to know everything about his life. I felt that when you were married, that you should share things, and you should have a right really to know what your husband was doing. Even if you wanted to make it up, you should take the trouble to make something up to tell you, so you could put it out of your mind.
Michael de Freitas was now working for a notorious landlord in Notting Hill called Peter Rackman. Rackman owned hundreds of flats in decaying houses in Notting Hill, which he rented out to prostitutes and immigrants.
All right, we're at the 30-minute mark. The past 10 minutes, I'm going to give my little commentary. But Nelson, what did you think about any of those scenes?
Like, do you really watch at 2 times the speed, man?
No, I'm at 1.5. I'm not watching 1.5. But
oh shit, I'm watching at 2x.
Yeah. No, I'm not watching at 2x. No, it's at 1.5.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
1.5?
Yeah, 1.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
2x is damn. I don't watch in my private life. Like if I'm listening to the news or watching a YouTube video, it's on 2x, unless it's music. You know what I mean? But anyway, what do you think about any of those scenes? Those past 10 minutes.
Yeah, I thought they were really. I thought they were really interesting. Like, what do you think of the Jamaican guy? He was working as an enforcer for the Jewish fella.
Yeah, I didn't get to see it yet. I'm not on that part. I stopped at the 30-minute mark. But I'm gonna go to the part about the.
Fuck. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. Just.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Just ask me. Like. Yeah, I can hear you. Just ask me what the parts.
Okay. So
No, wait. At the 29 mark. He says that the Jamaican guy. Did you see that interview with the guy that got his house trashed up?
Yeah. He said that he worked for doing like this house that was basically a slum. That's what he was talking about.
The guy who trashed this house at the 30-minute mark. The guy who trashed.
Yeah. What about it? What about it?
I just thought, I thought you would take notice of it because it's kind of queenish behavior. Like, look at the guy that was complaining about, racism and discrimination, and about how he doesn't belong in British soil, and then he's out here making other immigrants' lives, like black immigrants' lives, much more difficult than it already is.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up. That's pretty fucked up. I didn't get to see that part.
That's a hint, right? No, that's at the 30 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't get a chance to consume it all. I paused it exactly at 30:02. But going to those two guys Go ahead.
The Jewish guy, that might be the guy who he works for. There might be an even bigger coup if you think about it. That's a Holocaust survivor.
Okay.
Like running a ghetto. Like what?
Yeah, no, that's crazy. To be a slumlord. To be a slumlord is like one of the wildest jobs you could ever be. Probably the lowest, like the least respectful job that I could ever think of. Slumlord is like at the bottom. But about the two guys that were talking about, order and chaos in the universe, and then one of them goes off to join the army, and he meets Lee Harvey Oswald. You know what I mean? What I never understood about Oswald is he defected to the Soviet Union, but then he was able to come back. And I assume to defect means you give up your passport and your citizenship. but I never understood like how Oswald could defect, go to Cuba, and then come back to the U.S. and like everything is fine. You know what I mean?
I think they did have him like they did have him on a what do you call it? Like they were spying on him,
Yeah.
more or less. But I don't think he was on their like top list of priorities. You know, like those guys that come here on Europe and do terrorist attacks, and they travel to Indonesia, Syria, and
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, like usually they do pay attention, but they're not like, you know, like in the movies they're watching you 24/7.
Yeah.
Like they have limited resources.
Yeah. Yeah, it's maybe that's what it was, you know. Maybe they had him on a radar, but they were still letting him walk around free because technically he didn't commit a crime. You know what I mean? It probably wasn't a crime to become a Soviet citizen, right? But you would definitely put you on a radar. I thought it was interesting how they briefly talked about colonialism in Kenya, and then they start talking about this white woman who becomes a model from Kenya.
Oh yeah, that's very much like, yeah, you did pick up on that. Yeah, she's from Kenya. Yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting how they
I think-
mentioned that briefly.
I think that like what's the thing here? It's a nice little contrast. You know, you got this Kenyan woman.
Kenyan woman.
Sitting
That's
in
funny.
sitting in doing British modeling, but at the same time, the British Empire is decaying, right?
Yeah.
Along with its institutions that allow to exercise some control on women. So
Yeah.
you have her husband, who's like everyone else, is a bit insecure about her, and the systems of control which allowed for him to to calm down and to be more safe in the relationship. These things, along with the empire, are decaying.
Yeah.
And they're affecting his relationship and so forth.
Yeah.
That's what I got from this.
I think, this is a different documentary. I've never seen this narrative style where it's sort of like jumping all over the place, but they are interlinked. Talking about oppression in Kenya as a part of colonialism is linked to the oppression that women face no matter the society, but particularly in Western countries too, So
Yeah. That's why I asked you about the speed, because he's editing the thing in a way for you to feel a certain melancholia, It's not only logical kind of editing, it's more like of a kind of a dream, so you can kind of go into it,
Yeah, it is a bit more freeform. It is, yeah, it's all over the place. It's a bit more freeform, but I'm following it.
It's to reflect the state we're living here in, especially in the West, of disorientation, melancholia, and overall confusion, maybe.
No, I get that, and I'm catching that through the 1.5 speed. I never knew the speed of my YouTube videos was an issue. But
Man, I was watching it too. No, I'm sorry, because I was watching it to X, and I just wanted to clarify why.
Yeah. No, it's all good. All right, we're gonna pick up from the 30-minute to the 40-minute mark, so another 10 minutes at 1.5 speed. So let's go. Where are we at? 30-minute. Yeah, I'll press play.
Rachman owned hundreds of flats in decaying houses in Notting Hill, which he rented out to prostitutes and immigrants. De Freitas' job was to be Rachman's enforcer, often using threats and violence, including breaking in and wrecking the flats.
When we come back in the night, we see everything outside. All the floor mash up. All the wardrobe, all the chair, all the table, all the clothes on the floor, dirty. He take my brother's tools and mash up all the floor. Pull up all the lights. No water. Well.
Michael de Freitas was fascinated by his new employer, because Peter Rachman was far more than just the brutal gangster that he was portrayed as. He had lived an extraordinary life. He had been born in Lvov, on the border of Ukraine and Poland. Then the Nazis invaded, and Rachman was arrested and forcibly sterilized because he was Jewish. But he managed to escape. He fled into Russia, and was captured again, by the Russians, who sent him to the labor camps in Siberia, where he watched people survive by killing each other, and then eating the human flesh. But then the Nazis invaded Russia, and suddenly Rachman became Russia's ally. He was sent off to fight with the Free Polish Army. And he ended up, after the war, in London, stateless, and a complete outsider. That horror meant that Rachman judged nobody. For him, the differences between right and wrong were luxuries for the privileged. In the face of horror, everyone was the same, focused entirely on survival. But the English judged him. He was hated with an overwhelming disgust as the face of evil. De Freitas believed that this revealed something that was hidden in English society.
We start with the story of a man. Let me say straight away, a sordid story that some of you may well not want the younger children to hear. This is Peter Rackman, one of Britain's big-time 20th century racketeers.
On the surface, there was the overt racism against the immigrants that Rackman was bringing into Notting Hill.
A large number of people in Notting Hill are trying to mix the two races, are trying to bring about a coffee-coloured mulatto population in Britain. Then I regard it as no disgrace with the White Defence League to come on the scene and stand up for white interests.
But De Freitas saw something deeper. Rackman's property empire was a brutal and violent one, but it was doing something that polite English society completely refused to do. He was giving people on the very margins of society, prostitutes and black immigrants, somewhere to live. His empire shone a harsh light on the hypocrisy of the nice people at the top of English society, who would never think of themselves as racist, but wanted nothing to do with the people he was moving into Notting Hill. And they hated him for it. This was captured in an interview that the BBC did with the local upmarket journalists in Notting Hill about the day Rackman visited their offices.
What struck me about him was his extraordinary sense of being so evil. This was a really evil man. We'd heard a lot about Rackman, and finally here he was sitting in this room. But I don't think any of us were prepared to see such a grotesque individual. Kind of gravelly type of voice, a sort of almost a diseased voice, if you like. The kind of thing which went, "Oh, Mr. Denny, what do you want to see me for? I mean, I've done nothing."
De Freitas decided that there was a fear in England that went far deeper than just the working class racism. That behind the polite veneer of the middle classes, there was a hard ruthlessness and a suspicion of others. De Freitas gave it a name. He called it Englishism. It came, he said, from both an anger and a melancholy at the loss of their empire. Then Peter Rackman died of a heart attack, and Michael de Freitas suddenly found that he was the new face of evil.
Mr. de Freitas, why will you not take the rent from this man here?
I don't own the property.
But your name's on the rent book.
Is it?
Well, you know it is. We can probably show it to you. Come here, Mr. de Freitas, because I need to know the facts about this. Why will you not take his rent from him?
Mr. Farrell, will you guide me? You know, let it...
Jiang Qing came in secret to Mount Lushan to meet Mao Zedong, where he was confronting the other revolutionaries. She was determined to stop them from overthrowing Mao. Many of them were the men who had forced her into her strange, isolated life, and she hated them. Jiang Qing was also convinced that these men weren't really revolutionaries. They were actually ghosts from the past, who, without realizing it, were destroying the revolution, because their minds were still possessed by the patterns of thought of the old, decaying and corrupt empire that had ruled China for 300 years. Mao pretended to give in to the demands of the other revolutionaries, but he told Jiang Qing to go to Shanghai and to prepare quietly for a new kind of revolution, one that would sweep the opposition away. Jiang Qing returned to where she had started, the studios of Shanghai, but now she was in control. And the new revolution was going to be driven by her self-expression and her imagination that had been stifled back then. The unit of one was going to take over the revolution and reshape the minds of the Chinese people.
Because she could control the people's minds, she could control their images. She became the mistress of the arts and of propaganda and culture. She does have great personal charm. It's a severe charm. It's the charm of being able to do what she wanted and to say what she wanted to. And in a society where most people say what they're expected to say, most people express the current political line. Her daring to reflect upon the past, to speak extensively about herself, and to make judgments of all sorts was extraordinary. And she's a woman of many parts, so, and needless to say, her relationship to the chairman was always the trump card.
Jiang Qing began by taking old Chinese operas and reworked them, so they became dramatic melodramas about the need to struggle against the evil forces still hidden in Chinese society. Hate was a key word in the script. It must be shouted, she said, as if it was a grenade that you were hurling at the enemy. And never forget, she told the heroine, that beauty is less important than will and power. But the operas were just the start. Jiang Qing's real aim was to turn the whole of China itself into a giant melodrama, to work millions of people up into an intense frenzy that would have the power to smash through the old corrupt ideas that were still lodged in people's heads, and break through to a new kind of society. But at the same time, Jiang Qing herself was driven by old hatreds from her own past. and she was also going to turn that frenzy into a crusade of revenge against her old enemies, including Lee Lilly, who had upstaged her in Bloodshed on Wolf Mountain. Living quietly in New York, completely forgotten, was an Irish woman called Ethel Bull, who personified the very opposite of what Jan Qing believed. Because Bull thought...
Alright, I'm going to pause it right there. We went from the 30-minute mark to the 40-minute mark. A lot of very interesting stuff right here. I just got to say, I would love to see some of those Chinese socialist operas. Those look fire. Those Chinese operas look fire. I want to watch them with like the English dubs and translations. Wonder if I can get those. But Nelson, any comments on that 10 minutes?
Yeah, I thought Don Brazil looked cool as well. It's nice seeing how evil Mao was.
Yeah.
And like how the Jewish guy is kind of a scapegoat, a little projecting shit onto.
Yeah, when they were talking about Rockman.
Learning from these gangsters.
Yeah, well, when they were talking about Rockman, that was a very interesting part because his story reminds me of who was the boogeyman on the right, the guy that they say is giving money to everybody, the Hungarian guy, George Soros.
Elon Musk?
No, George Soros. He's on the left. Sorry, George Soros.
Ah, yeah, but he's from the left.
Yeah. But in this case, they were sort of making Rockman out to be the George Soros type character. And it sort of goes to show how the more things change, they stay the same. Because what did they say Rockman was doing? He was letting in the Negroes and the Browns into Britain, and he was trying to force the white British people to mate and reproduce with the inferior races. So the whites have to protect themselves. Like, that's Great Replacement 101. Any comments on that?
Yeah, for sure. He was just like, I guess he was pointing a mirror at the ugliest parts of society, and a lot of people didn't like that, I guess. It would run against their image of themselves.
I guess he was actually just an actual capitalist. Like an actual capitalist doesn't have time to be racist. He's like the barber if the barber wasn't discriminatory to that Indian guy.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, totally. And I feel like, since he was, it's kind of a paradox because he was a victim of racism, in a very extreme way.
Yeah.
So when he saw other people being like discriminated against, it didn't go like, I don't know if it didn't activate empathy, but it was like, this is stupid. Like, why not just give these people houses? It's a good market for making good money.
Exactly. It was also very funny right here when this white guy was like, I was so surprised when I met him that he was actually so fucking evil. Like, he was literally evil. Like, what was that?
Yeah.
And he's like...
His voice was evil.
Yeah, his voice was evil. He was like, why you call me in here for? Why did you want to talk to me?
I did nothing wrong.
I'm like...
watch how...
Go ahead.
But watch how in the background, the Freitas, the Jamaican guy, how he's there. He's learning,
Yeah. There was a book I read last year for Book React. It's called Racism in Europe from like 1870 to like 1900, written by this guy named Neil McMaster. And he talks about the history of like anti-Semitism in Europe. And one of the stereotypes of the Jews is that they're always sickly, and that they have like their bodies are naturally prone to disease. And I thought it was very like when you read and you learn history, you catch these dog whistles, and that was such a blatant like anti-Semitic like dog whistle. He had a sickly voice. He was he sounded diseased and naturally evil.
Nasal voice.
Yeah, nasally and. Which I find that accent to be so hilarious, by the way. That's such a funny accent to me.
It's really curious to say that because I had no idea that was actually a stereotype. But then you watch that scene like in a whole new light.
Yeah.
Did you watch South Park?
Oh yeah, of course I watched South Park.
So Kyle, he has a cousin, you know, a redhead cousin. I think he was in his newest season actually. Might have been. He was. Did you watch it? Have you watched the latest episode?
I think the last one I saw of the season was like Donald Trump and Satan were like pregnant, and Donald Trump was trying to make Satan have like an abortion. That was the last one I saw.
Oh yeah, yeah. Finish the season, man. It's really funny. The last episode is really good.
Okay.
The cousin is in the season. Don't you remember where Kyle and Stan were like running a scheme? I think I don't know if it was crypto or something, and they went to the White House to bribe the president. But like they only met like Donald Trump Jr.
Yeah. I think I remember that. Yeah.
So the cousin is like he's been there before in the past season. So he's really sickly. He has a really nasally voice.
Yeah.
He's like, but now I know why they made him that way, because they're making fun of him because it's a stereotype.
Yeah.
I get it now.
Yeah. Was that the cousin that comes? Was that Kyle's cousin that comes in and he's like into crypto or something like that?
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah, I think I saw that episode.
Kyle's a Jew.
Yeah.
No, I got the joke.
Yeah. But this is a very interesting documentary. Going back to the part about Ling Shek or Ling Qiang.
Yeah.
Like for her, what I know about her is that she has a famous quote. Because I think where the documentary is going, they're going to talk about her being involved in the Cultural Revolution in China and how everything went to shit. And then when Mao died, the Communist Party was like, oh, we need to clean up the history of the Cultural Revolution. So then they blame it on her. And then she has a famous quote where she says, like, I was Mao's dog. When he told me to bark, I barked, or something like that. So, have you heard that quote?
I haven't heard the quote, but I can. That's like something she would say, but that's not like totally the truth either. That's convenient. That's a convenient thing because Mao's dead, so she's saying like he made me do it.
Yeah.
But do you see how Mao like is used? First of all, it's crazy that she had like such a decades-long grudge against a past co-worker. That's crazy. And number two, like, it's crazy like how Mao is using her like a Pokemon. You know, like he was trying to like industrialize the country. Millions died. Now the party's coming for him.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit! I need to bring up like, you know, like a strong Pokemon card. They're getting out of here. No way, man.
I mean, what's her name? Ling Qiang. She makes Hillary Clinton look like Melania Trump. You know what I mean?
Oh, for real. Like Hillary has nothing on her, man.
Yeah, bro. She is. Behind every powerful man needs to be a Ling Qiang. Like, let's do the genocide, boss.
Because, that's crazy because some like one of the worst guys, they get the most loyal woman, like for some weird reason.
Yeah, except Hitler. I don't know.
No, he did have really loyal.
Who was it? What was that girl's name? Anna something. The one that.
Braun?
Yeah, Ava Braun, right? That's the one that killed herself with him. Yeah, I guess.
There's pictures of her doing blackface.
There's pictures of Ava Braun doing blackface.
Yeah.
I've never wanted to fuck a German woman so bad. That's hilarious. But one more thing I got to say about those last 10 minutes. There was this part when the new slumlord comes and he doesn't want to take the black man's rent. That's crazy too, man. Like, this film has got some blatant racism up in it. Like, it's fire.
Yeah, I love this series. It's really good.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the 40-minute mark. We're going to go 40 to 50 and then give commentary.
Precise 40?
Yeah, 40 to 50. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Jiang Qin believed, because Paul thought that the way to change the world was to give yourself up to the force of revolution, to surrender your individual self and your identity to the dream of a better future for others. At the end of the 19th century, Ethel Boo had gone to Russia as a young girl and become involved with the revolutionaries in St. Petersburg. And she wrote a novel called The Gadfly. It told a powerful romantic story of a young girl who sacrificed everything for revolution. She then married a Polish revolutionary called Wilfrid Voynich, and in the 1920s they went to live in New York, where he worked as an antiquarian bookseller, and Ethel Bull forgot about revolution. But in 1959, when the Bolshoi Ballet came to New York, the dancers were astonished to find that she was alive, and they rushed to visit her. Because Ethel Bull, without her realizing it, had become a hero of the Russian Revolution. She discovered that her novel had inspired millions of young revolutionaries in the 1920s to rise up and fight for the revolution, inspired by the idea of surrendering themselves to a grand historic cause. Then the same had happened in China. Again, millions of young revolutionaries had carried the gadfly in their backpacks as they fought to create a new kind of future. Now, Bull was living alone, and she had inherited a mysterious book from her husband. It was called the Voynich Manuscript, and it was written in a language no one has been able to decipher. But one ballerina in the Bolshoi group didn't go to visit Ethel Bull. She was called Maya Plisetskaya. She was the most famous ballerina in the world, and she hated the communist system. Plisetskaya's father had been executed by firing squad during the purges of the 1930s. Her mother had been sent to a prison in the wastes of Siberia. As she became famous, she was watched all the time by agents from the KGB. She couldn't trust anyone. Everyone around her had been told to inform her. And she hated what she called the men with sweaty faces, the party bosses who leered at her as she danced. In private, Maya Plisetskaya wrote out her own manifesto. I don't know about other people, she wrote. I'll say it for myself. I don't want to be a slave. I don't want people whom I don't know to decide my fate. I don't want a leash on my neck. I don't want a cage, even if it is a platinum one. I don't want to be rejected or branded. I don't want to hide what I am thinking. I don't want to bow my head, and I won't do it. That's not what I was born for. Both Plisetskaya and Jiang Qing were part of the new individualism that was rising up everywhere, while Ethel Bull's collective vision was dying. But at the same time, a new revolution was about to begin. It would offer a dream of liberation and freedom for the new individuals, but it would end by controlling them. And in a strange twist, the person whose ideas would guide that revolution was Ethel Bull's father. He was a mathematician from the 19th century called George Boole. Boole had been a deeply religious man, and one afternoon in the 1840s, as he walked across a field near Doncaster, a thought had flashed into his head that he believed was a religious vision. Boole suddenly saw how you could use mathematics to unlock the mysterious processes of human thought. The same symbols that were used in algebra could be used to describe what went on inside people's heads as they followed a train of thought, expressing all the twists and turns in simple binary form. If this, then that. If that, then not this. And in 1854, Boole wrote a book that caused a sensation. It was called An Investigation of the Laws of Thought. Its aim, to investigate the fundamental laws of those operations of the mind by which reasoning is performed. Boole showed how even abstract concepts, like virtue and passion, could be put into equations, and then the symbols used to follow a pattern of thought to its conclusion. Boole was driven by an almost messianic belief that he had been allowed a glimpse by God into the truth of the human mind. But there were those who doubted this. The philosopher, Bertrand Russell, was astonished by the brilliance of Boole's mathematics, but he didn't believe that what Boole had discovered was anything to do with human thought. Human beings, Russell said, do not think like that. What Boole was really doing was something else. Throughout the British Empire, science had played a powerful role which has been wiped and forgotten today. Its job had been to create abstract systems, to catalogue and order the chaotic reality that the British ruled over, to turn it into something that could be managed and controlled. It ranged from making maps of what was called the Dark Interior, to cataloguing millions of species of animals and insects, and studying and categorising different human types. And what Boole was doing was the next step in that process. He was taking the chaotic reality of human thought and making a simplified, rational map of that other dark interior, the human mind, so it could be managed and controlled. But in the 19th century, no one could see any way of using the system that Boole had created, and it languished, and was quietly forgotten, and the British Empire began to collapse. Sandra Poole discovered her husband having sex in the back of a car with the Marchioness of Londonderry. She was finally storm, and she decided the marriage would have to end. She told Robin Douglas Hughes she wanted a divorce, but he refused. So she said that she would seek a petition for cruelty. It meant that many of the details of their marriage and the struggles between them would be made public.
And he couldn't bear the thought of going through a divorce, so he refused to give me a divorce. He blamed me for dragging the whole thing out in... well, I don't think he blamed me coherently, he just blamed me because I divorced him. And he couldn't understand that there wasn't any other way. I don't think I was unfair because it was the only thing I could do. And I did think that it was hopeless for us to stay in a separated state. Hopeless for me. I was being selfish. I wanted to be free.
You had to be fairly ruthless.
Yes, I had to be ruthless in order to be free.
And she insisted on continuing with this petition for cruelty. Now, when I received the petition for cruelty, I can only describe one's feelings to you as if, a small bomb had gone off inside your head. Because it chapterized the marriage almost day by day, and incidentally letter by letter, Romeo'd, in the most unpleasant and vicious terms with me as the aggressor and the cruel one. 5 years at once.
All right, we just went from the 40-minute mark to the 50-minute mark on 1.5 speed. And as we're about 2/3, I would say, done with this documentary, I have to say that as a piece of media that obviously is propaganda, because all media is propaganda. This is a BBC production, I assume, judging by the tag watermark on the upper left-hand corner. This is a piece of propaganda that at the very best serves to highlight how we can liberation for us as individuals through a collective movement and learning from past mistakes when collectivist movements hindered the individual. And at the very worst, this documentary is a type of basically clusterfuck shitstorm on the mind to make you think, well, all forms of systems are corrupt, everything is distorted, and all you can do is just try to be a cool individual that lives free and fuck the rules, man. That's what I'm getting from this. But what do you think?
Well, I want to reach the documentarian Adam Curtis. He does study his thesis by the end of the series. But no one really looks good here. Maybe not so much the systems. Not all systems maybe look. A few certainly do look much worse than the others. But nothing really looks good here. But you can reflect on that. Is it really because of the system, or because of these individuals within the system?
What's
decaying? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Like the things are replacing the old, right?
Mm-hmm.
The old things they're decaying, and new things are coming about. I mean, are these new things better?
Mm-hmm.
If not, why? What is going on here?
I just think in the what we call the Western world, there is a history of the idea of the individual and the individual's place in public space being more important than the collective. That's like basic, American understanding 101. And I would argue that applies from Canada all the way to Argentina. Like, this is a general ethos in the Americas. And if we extrapolate that to the Atlantic world, Western Europe, right, then that's like a major part of, I would argue, Western Europe's conception of the South. So then why are we spending most of the time talking about, communist China and Soviet Russia? You know what I mean? Talking about this when there's a much deeper history of the individual self.
I don't think we're spending most of the time there.
You think so? I mean, we're spending a good amount of time all over the place.
No, not at all. And because, and also, it's not just individualism. What's under examination here also is the collectivism. We find in China, in Russia, but in this episode, China particularly, a little bit more.
Right. I mean, I don't know when this was made. When was this made? 2019, 2020, 21? Do you know? No?
Well, so like, what happened in these? Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah. I was asking you, when was this documentary made? Like 2019, 2020, 2021?
Can you see it on the description? I'm not sure.
Either way, this was definitely made in the recent, like in the past 2
I'm going to
decades.
say 2019, 2020.
Very recently. So this was a last decade production, right? We're almost 30
When was
years.
Biden elected?
Huh? What did you say?
When was Biden elected?
He was elected in 2020.
So yeah, this is 2020.
Anyway, we're like 30 years removed from like the fall of the Soviet Union. Basically, communism discredited as like a global ideology. And, the world is more homogenized and following an American neoliberal Western model, right? And if you don't even want to put American in it, you could say it's just a homogenized neoliberal model that was really put into practice and focus by the Western Bloc, the winners of the Cold War, right, in total. But we're, focusing on the writer of the Gadfly and Mao's communist wife. To me, I just find this to be, a bit of a propaganda piece that just causes more confusion for people. You know what I'm saying?
Well, for me, no, I actually enjoyed it quite a lot. So, I think he makes it a lot more fair and true of what happened. And also, as this documentary goes along throughout the decades until now, China and Russia are still very relevant to today's world, obviously. So, as we see the history of the West, it makes sense. We also see the history of the East because these two hemispheres, I guess, of power are still deeply relevant today. So it makes sense to see its history and so forth, and how they interconnected with each other, its contradictions, its failures, its successes.
Yeah.
So forth.
No, when I'm being critical of.
Like the best way to go about it, even though this obviously condemns racism, but for me the best way to go about it is watching more like systems working themselves out, not so much based upon them as moral condemnation. Even though this specifically in the documentary, it condemns like obviously racism, misogyny, and so forth. The best way, at least for me, to watch it is through systems thinking.
I get that, and when I'm being critical of it, I'm not saying that I don't enjoy it. There's One Battle After Another is a great film, but it is a type of, propaganda for the mind that is, meant to obfuscate the people. It's supposed to confuse the people, right? That's the purpose. And all media is propaganda. So I think, when I'm being critical of it, I'm not saying that it's not enjoyable. I'm just saying, what purpose does this media serve? And I think it's just to confuse people, I would say.
Well, I think the documentary reflects confusion. Its purpose, actually, I think, is to make things a little more clear. That's why we're watching the history of things until a certain point, to make things more clear.
I get that.
I think. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no, and I respect
you don't have to agree with me.
No, I respect your opinion. I respect your opinion, and I appreciate you showing it to me. I'm picking up a lot of history here. Like, I want to read the Gadfly now. I want to learn more about certain individuals that they're mentioning here. You know what I'm saying?
I forgot to ask you about the people we saw in this 10 minutes. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's all I had to say. Like, I want to learn more about the people here. This is a great, resource for just new things I want to dive into. I think I heard about that manuscript that they said Ethel Poole had. I didn't know that she found it. What was it called? The Voyage manuscript?
The Voyage manuscript.
Yeah, I didn't know she found it. Did she find it, or did somebody else?
Her husband found it.
Her husband found it.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you write that? Voyage manuscript?
Google like fucking he corrects it. Google.
I tried it. Voyage manuscript. I can't find it. No, I can't find it.
Like instead of voyeur, like put voyeur, don't
Mhm.
finish the thing and put manuscript, and Google will like no.
Okay. Maybe I can find the.
Did it work?
No. I can't find it. If anybody knows in the chat how to spell it, put it in the chat. I want to read that.
Aren't you watching with subtitles?
I am watching with subtitles, but I can't find the exact part where they write the text. I can't find it. All right, but c'est la vie, c'est la vie.
So, what did you think that Lady Poole, forgot her first name?
Wait, which one?
She made this. Sorry?
Which lady?
The lady who wrote the book, and was her name Poole?
Yeah, Ethel Poole or something like that.
Ethel Poole.
Yeah.
So, what did you think of Ethel Poole, who went to Russia and made this book, then left, and unbeknownst to her, she created a foundation for the revolution and so forth.
Yeah.
Irish woman.
Yeah, no, I thought that was hella cool. That's hella inspiring. That shows you that a book, can change the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I found it. It's the Voynich manuscript.
Voynich, yeah.
Voynich. And I wonder if it was found by Ethel. That's crazy.
The husband.
Yes. Her husband. Well, anyway. Go ahead.
What did you think of the coincidence that her grandfather or father, I think, was like a mathematician who made a very fundamental piece of algorithms that we still use today?
I thought this was interesting because this related to a class I took last semester about probability and risk, game theory type of stuff. And I look at this stuff a bit side-eyed because I don't think you can quantify human reactions, thoughts, experiences into numbers.
Recording stopped.
You know what I mean? That's what I think.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think. I'm not going to spoil, but I think the documentary agrees with you. But I think everything can be quantified. It's only a matter of time. But it's very interesting how she how the grandfather or father made something fundamental for a system of control, and the granddaughter creates another fundamental thing for movement of freedom. Let's call it freedom.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm getting from this documentary over and over again is the idea that people want freedom. People don't like control. Like when he writes down these equations, and I believe Bertrand Russell replies and says humans aren't like that. Humans can't be controlled and quantified. And they start comparing it to, phrenology and scientific racism.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. You know what I'm saying? But
that was the documentarian thing. He was the one who showed the footage.
But
as he was talking about it.
But I think if there's two themes, if there are any two themes for this documentary, it's essentially first and foremost, people want to be free, which we all agree with. But I think the second theme is that this is bourgeois propaganda meant to confuse you. It's meant to make you just be I guess everything is fucked up and there's nothing we can do. Collective action, individual action, there's nothing we can do. We're all just screwed. And that's the point of media like this. It's not to convince you that the system is good, though it would be a benefit. They would just rather have you think there's no alternative. And that's what I think the point of this thing is.
Yeah?
Okay. All right.
I mean that's the contrary. He later on he says they want you to think that nothing can be solved and everything, it's just total confusion and we don't know who's behind this and so forth.
Yeah.
But there's literally all. He agrees with you, but I don't think he would agree with you on his own documentary. We're just trying to make a counterpoint to that.
Well, let's continue, shall we? We're gonna go to 50 to 60.
50?
50 to 60.
Sorry. What do you think of this guy?
Oh, this part when
he got caught cheating.
Yeah, the prime minister's son.
The divorce.
I mean, it sounds like he fumbled the bag. He had a bad little broad, and now he's over here smashing the help. What is he doing?
Do you see like the pain he's going through?
I didn't see that part. I stopped at the 50, so I don't know what pain he's going through. But I'm sure he's hurting. I'm sure he's hurting because that's a fit bird. What'd you say?
You can see it in his eyes.
You can see it in his eyes. He's hurt. Yeah. I mean.
He's hurt bad.
Yeah. I'm gonna press play.
But he was the one who cheated, though.
Yeah, he fucked up. He fucked up. He fumbled the pussy.
With me as the aggressor and the cruel one. 5 years of one's life, say 70% of which were very happy, reduced to a great wad of fool's camp, leering little solicitors' offices. Your letters from the moment you'd met, typed out, Renioed, your letters to your mother, her letters to her mother's letters to me.
It was all right, you felt, to be regarded as an adulterer, but you couldn't bear to be regarded as cruel.
I couldn't bear her to put a kind of tombstone on this marriage, reading in the way that petition read.
For men like Robert Douglas Hume, the expectation of power had been deeply embedded inside their minds. But as the world had changed around them, and real power ebbed away, they were left with a terrible melancholy, that in some would turn to despair. A year after the filming, Robert Douglas Hume committed suicide.
Sag mir, wo die Blumen sind, wo sind sie geblieben? Sag mir, wo die Blumen sind, was ist geschehen? Sag mir, wo die Blumen sind, Mädchen pflückten sie geschwind. Wann wird man je verstehen? Wann wird man je verstehen? Sag mir, wo die Mädchen sind, wo sind sie geblieben? Sag mir, wo die Mädchen sind, was ist geschehen? Sag mir, wo die Mädchen sind, nennen sie geschwind. Wann wird man je verstehen? Wann wird man je verstehen? Sag mir, wo die Männer sind, wo sind sie geblieben? Sag mir, wo die Männer sind, was ist geschehen? Sag mir, wo die Männer sind, zogen fort, der Krieg beginnt. Wann wird man je verstehen? Wann wird man je verstehen?
Kerry Thornley had left California and gone to live in New Orleans, where he worked in a bar. The movement that he and his friend Greg Hill had started, Discordianism, was beginning to grow, spreading by word of mouth. Like much of the new counterculture, it was against all politics. It distrusted all the old systems of power, left and right, because they were just trying to force you into their version of reality. Thornley also published his novel, with Lee Harvey Oswald as the central figure. It was called The Idle Warriors. But New Orleans was also the city where Lee Harvey Oswald had lived before the Kennedy assassination. And as a result, Thornley came to the notice of the man who was going to be the main creator of the JFK conspiracy theory. He was the district attorney of New Orleans, called Jim Garrison. Garrison said that Oswald had just been part of a giant conspiracy that included the CIA, big business, the news media, and anti-Castro Cubans, who together had killed the president.
There's no question about that. There was a conspiracy. A number of men were involved. An apparatus which was
lethal in nature, of which Lee Harvey Oswald was a part. They signed a role essentially as decoy. Now don't ask me what the organization is because I can't say. But the implication clearly is the Central Intelligence Agency or Homeland Security Organization in the United States. It almost sounds like that, doesn't it? I have no comment about it.
Jim Garrison believed that the modern democratic system in America was just a facade. That behind it was another secret system of power that really controlled the country. But you could never discover it through normal means because it was so deeply hidden. Garrison wrote a memo to his staff explaining how you could uncover this secret world. He called it time and propinquity. You didn't bother with meaning or with logic, he said, because that will always be hidden. Instead, you look for patterns, strange coincidences, and links that may seem to have no meaning, but are actually telltale signs on the surface of the hidden system of power underneath. This theory was going to have a very powerful effect in the future, because it would lead to a profound shift in how many people understood the world. Because what it said was that in a dark world of hidden power, you couldn't expect everything to make sense. That it was pointless to try and understand the meaning of why something happened, because that would always be hidden from you. What you looked for were the patterns. And when Garrison read Kerry Thornley's novel, he saw a pattern. Not only had Thornley been in the Marines with Oswald and written a novel about him, but he had come to live in the same city that Oswald had lived in before the assassination. And in 1967, Garrison accused Thornley of being part of the conspiracy. Thornley was furious. He knew that Garrison was wrong. But he also hated the very idea of conspiracy theories. He believed that they were one of the ways those in power controlled you. Conspiracy theories made you believe that there were hidden forces that really controlled the world. And that made you as an individual feel weak and powerless. Suspicion, he believed, was just another form of control. Thornley wanted to find ways to free people from that kind of conditioning that held them back as individuals.
There are ways of deconditioning people. And this is what I'm interested in. I'm interested in finding some technique by which great masses of people can be broken out of their authoritarian conditioning all at once to figure out exactly what that type of enlightenment is, that type of liberation from authoritarian conditioning is, and how to achieve it on a wholesale basis.
Thornley was right that most of what Garrison alleged was complete fantasy. Despite all the patterns, he could produce no evidence of a hidden conspiracy. But what Thornley didn't realise was that at the same time there was another very real conspiracy being run by the American government. And its aim was to try and do the very same thing as he wanted to do. The Central Intelligence Agency was trying to find ways to wipe the past from people's minds, to see if they could free them from the conditioning that had been implanted there. Psychologists working for the CIA had come to believe that individuals were far weaker than they had believed, and they wanted to see if they could implant new patterns of thought in their minds.
The image of the human being that was being built up at that particular time was that there was a great deal of vulnerability in every human being, and that vulnerability could be manipulated to program somebody to be something that I wanted them to be. And
all right, we're going to stop here. We went from the 50-minute mark to the 16-minute mark. Very interesting stuff right there.
All right.
What did you think about that, Nelson?
Well, did you notice, I mean, already, the documentarian is saying, like, the opposite of what William implied. He was really making the same point of view. They want you confused, believing there's suspicion and so forth, so you can do nothing about it.
Yeah.
That's what he's criticizing here. He's saying, well, you very much can do something about it.
Yeah, have you heard the phrase, the medium is the message?
Yeah, that's I forgot the guy who wrote that, but I know who.
Yeah, it's a guy named McLuhan. Social.
Kyle McLuhan, right?
Yeah, something like that. And so you know how it is a lot of the times with these YouTube videos and things like that. The medium allows some people to get the message, but they don't actually finish the entire message. There's things that are lost or they're barely paying attention. So I wouldn't be surprised if some people turn this video off in the first 10 minutes, right? And they just get some wild, confused understanding. But that's all I got to say.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if that happens because the documentary, I think it really pulls you in. It's telling like really interesting. But yeah, things can get easily become contextualized.
Yeah.
So basically, what happens is the BBC, Adam's an artist. He's a documentary, and sometimes the BBC It's really great doing this stuff. They just commission stuff from you. Like, you remember, like, when people used to commission paintings and so forth?
Yeah.
The BBC, I don't know if they still do that. I think they still do, but they have, like, certain things that go for the arts, and sometimes we get really lucky. We get people like Adam Curry's commissioning this stuff.
I mean, I would much rather people watch this than, like, Fox News or just basic CNN, right? Because this is a high-level, easily accessible, but still, analytical documentary. But is it that much better than watching, Fox News or CNN if you're still going to walk away and be like, see, brother, that's why the government trying to control you, bro. So. But I am hearing
He is saying that. He's saying the government's trying to control you.
Yeah, and I think we agree with that. I think we all agree with that premise. Like, yeah, our governments are trying to control us, right? And I heard that part where he was saying, like, yeah, conspiracy theories are essentially, like, ways to confuse you, ways to keep you just always looking for the lizard people somewhere, right? I was very interested in what that guy, the novelist said. What was his name? Lenny Henry, something like that?
The guy who was friends with Lee Harvey Oswald?
Yeah, he was saying, like, I'm so interested in how to de-authoritarianize people, like unbrainwash them. You know what I mean? In masses. That's a very noble cause. But
the CIA was trying to do the same thing.
Exactly. It's I wonder if they're gonna start talking about COINTELPRO or something. Or if they're gonna start talking about here's my guess. The rest of this documentary is gonna be like MK Ultra. Remember that time the government kidnapped you and forced you to suck a dick in a hotel room on Molly? Like,
oh shit.
Is that what this documentary is gonna be? Is it gonna be like huh?
No. We remember the Freitas?
The Freitas?
The Jamaican guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, his name is the Freitas. Yeah, we're gonna get more into him. We're gonna follow him. We're gonna follow the Chinese woman. We're gonna follow this guy, the novelist, a little bit. And then after they die, we follow a few more people. But what did you think of the guy that killed himself?
I mean, that's pussy behavior. I'm trying to understand what was the point
Come on.
No, I'm trying to understand what was the point of telling this story. So this rich guy marries this girl. He wants her to stay home and be a trad wife. She says no. She accuses him of cheating. He kills himself. What's the story trying to say?
I think like for me, what I got from it was we see like a nice image that shows like it really contains the overall elements of things that were happening really across the world. So we're watching the rise of individual rights, of individualism also, in women, of greater agency and so forth. Where before he might have cheated on her and there was not much we could do about it. And that's it. But along with the decay and death of the British Empire, institutions like marriage, the church, and so forth, they also decaying along, and therefore their systems of control also decaying along. So, in their marriage, things that they might have allowed him to feel better, to to feel more safe in the relationship, like go away, and she goes away along.
Yeah.
And what's left in him is a huge, massive black hole which he isn't really able to fill. So he kills himself so he doesn't feel anymore.
I get that. That's an interesting, this is like the premise of the film, that sort of like we've become individualized, and it is tied to like the changing times, like the fall of the British Empire, the rise of America, a new sort of social norms and great technology around us that allows us to do things that are almost impossible, right? Like you can shoot the president and catch it on camera, you know what I'm saying? Crazy shit like that.
Yeah.
It's just sort of like Do you think this documentary is also making the argument that these sort of ideas ideas are more powerful than the material forces, though? That's what I'm getting from this. Like, certain ideas or ways of thinking sort of just arise, and certain individuals are so powerful that they're able to mold history in their own image.
I think it's saying that history is much more complex and large than any other individual in particular. It's whether the wind, the cause and effect and systems and so forth move people, not the other way around. I think that's what he believes. I suspect that's what he said. And I also think we're seeing from like old systems of control morphing or changing into new systems of control, I think.
Right. I think the film is also trying to say that systems of control inherently cause human reaction against those systems.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
yeah.
This is the thing that I find dangerous with this. I think it equates all systems of control as equally as bad or damaging. And maybe that's my issue with it. By emphasizing, the Soviet time and comparing it to American hyper-individualism, that's what I find maybe so distasteful. Does that make sense?
I don't think, first of all, you could definitely make the argument of how bad those communists were, really. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But I don't think he's making any moral equivalencies, really. I don't think he's thinking like that when he's comparing the blocks. I think he's thinking more like, well, one went wrong here. Not so much this was just as bad as this one. I think he's trying to say this. I think what he's trying to say, especially for the Soviets, they're like well-intentioned people who really want to change the world for the better. But there's obstacles or something else that changes them and things go wrong. I think that's like the tragedy here, I think.
I think by inherently bringing it up in the conversation, you're sort of making them morally equivalent. Like, if your girl says to you, you cheated on me, and then I reply to my girl, yeah, but you left the toilet seat up, that's like trying to imply that both of those are equally as bad. You know what I mean?
I think that you feel a certain tension, and you're expecting the documentarian to ease that tension by telling you, no guys, I got to tell you this isn't as wrong as the other one. But he's leaving for the viewer to decide and make their own conclusions. If he didn't, he would be a hypocrite.
Okay. I mean, I just don't believe that any documentary ever leaves it up to the audience to have their own conclusions, really. I think there is a point of view that's expressed in every documentary.
I think that all there is your own conclusions, because logically it doesn't. Let's say I'm packaging a documentary, right? There's bad ideology, blah blah blah. But let's say I put good, okay, good, like this is good. Like, you can do that. That's not up to you. Like, you can say, okay, this documentary has certain elements, but even if even the things that you try to package aren't going to be there, because things are by nature left to subjectivity.
Yeah.
I got you. I might. Yeah.
I agree. I mean, people will interpret art however they want, but when Kendrick Lamar makes a song, and even if the song is like "Sing About Me," where he's rapping in different perspectives and voices and stuff like that, like the song might come across like he has no point of view, but the artist always has a point of view. They always have something that they were trying to express in their art. And that could be a song, a documentary, a film, a book.
Yes, and letting people make their own conclusions. That's also a point of view from the artist.
Right. I agree, but I think when we interpret art, we're what we're trying to get at is what that person is trying to mean by it. And the closer that we can get to what that artist was trying to mean or say through their obscure art, then that's closer to like the truth of it. Does that make sense?
I think that's certainly a very significant aspect of interpretation. But for me, the even because of the subject nature of art, the most fun thing to me is to discover what I like about the thing that was made.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much what the guy intended for it to be made. What I'm interested in is what I'm getting from it, is what my brain is catching on. You know, am I making any sense?
No, you're making sense. I mean,
not like trying to figure out what this guy needs and so forth, right? That's a lot of fun. But like what's more fun to me, it's like a Lynch movie where you just things are so left ambiguous, you have no choice to make up your own conclusions.
right.
Even though I'm sure Lynch had his own interpretation.
Absolutely. I mean, with art, you could do, interpretive stuff with the art, or just enjoy it for what it is, or reinterpret it. I'm not saying that there's only one thing that we could do with a documentary, which is watch it and try to figure out what the documentarian is trying to get us to feel or think. You know what I'm saying? But that's just what I'm doing right now with it. But I could also watch this and laugh with it, or just take it not as seriously. You know what I mean? But I think seriously dealing with the art is interpreting it. But go ahead.
Have you seen the movie Tenet?
Yeah, I've seen Tenet.
So what I try to do, it's basically there's a scene where there's a scientist, and the character is like, "What the fuck? What's going on?"
Mm-hmm.
And she replies, "Don't try to understand it. Rather try to feel it." And I think that's a good approach, at least for me personally, for me to have with art.
Yeah.
I try to feel it, and if understanding is something that comes or may not come.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a little, I guess elitist maybe.
I got you. Can I ask you, what do you think Tupac's Hail Mary is about?
When I listened to that song, I was like 14, but.
Oh, you haven't heard it since?
Suffering, pain in deep suffering.
I ain't a killer, but don't push me. Revenge is like the sweetest joy next to getting pussy. Picture paragraphs unloaded. Wise words being quoted. Peek the weakness in this rap game and sowed it. I mean, what is he talking about? What the fuck is Pac talking about? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Go with
it's actually funny. It's a. First of all, there's a little nice coincidence in this documentary, but it's really funny you say that because the next episode is about Tupac's mom, Aisha Shakur, and the penultimate episode is about but one of the characters is Tupac himself.
Really? I'm very interested to see how Tupac will be involved in this. I'm scared. Because this is a very postmodern documentary, where meaning is sort of secondary, narrative style is non-linear. Very interested to see how they deal with Pac.
I'm more excited to see his mom again. She was quite a character. She's really cool.
There's a very dope 3-part documentary series called Afeni, just about Tupac's mama. It's one of the illest documentaries ever. And really? Mama told me never stop until I bust a nut. Fuck the world and they can just. It's just as well. Hail Mary. What is Tupac talking about?
What does that even mean?
Mama told me never stop until I bust a nut. Fuck the world and they can just as well.
You know what that is?
What?
It's a postmodern rap song. Maybe one of the first.
It is a postmodern rap song. Thank you. It is, right? It has structure, meaning, everything is gone. Bow down, pray to God, hoping that he's listening. Seeing niggas coming for me with my diamonds when they glistening.
Yeah.
Anyway, shall we continue?
Yeah.
All right.
You're exact at 50?
We're gonna start at 60. Start at exactly at 60.
1 hour, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Vulnerability in every human being, and that vulnerability could be manipulated to program somebody.
Bow
to be
down, pray to
something
God,
that
hoping
I
that this
wanted them to be, and they didn't want to be. That you could manipulate people in such a way that they could be automatons, if you will, for whatever your own purposes were. This was the image that people thought was possible.
The CIA set up a secret project called MK Ultra. It was led by a psychiatrist called Ewan Cameron.
I knew it! I fucking knew it!
Called the Allen Memorial. He took patients, and without telling them, experimented to see if he could wipe what he called the sick memories from their minds. To do this, he used repeated electroshocks and massive doses of LSD.
They shipped me up to what they call the sleep room, and they gave me all of these electroconvulsive shock treatments and megadoses of drugs and LSD and all of that, and I have no memory of any of that. Nothing of that time of the Allen Memorial or any of my life previous to that. All gone. Wiped.
Some members of Discordians were working at Playboy magazine, and Thornley decided that he was going to use Playboy magazine to start an experiment that would make people see how absurd all conspiracy theories really were. He called it Operation Mindfuck. In 1969, he and Greg Hill began Operation Mindfuck by placing a false letter in the Playboy letters page. They put it between another letter, asking if gun fanatics had small penises, and one from a man asking about the physical danger to his testicles from heavy petting. Thornley's fake letter asked whether all the political assassinations in America were really being masterminded by a single secret society, and the society it named was the Illuminati. It said that the Illuminati were behind all the chaos and the fear that was now gripping America. He and the other Discordians then proceeded to spread this idea all across America through the counterculture, in magazines and books, and even in plays. Thornley's aim was to try and break the spell of conspiracy theories by making people see the absurdity of believing them. And he had chosen the Illuminati for the experiment because no one could possibly believe that an 18th century organisation from Bavaria was really, in the second half of the 20th century, the secret rulers of the modern world. It was clearly ridiculous.
I'm sorry, I'm breaking my own rules about the 10-minute mark, but I'm glad he brought that up about how the Illuminati was essentially a psyop to try to like trick people into thinking that there's like secret puppeteers of the world. And really it was like a joke. The guy who came up with the Illuminati saying that, you know, the secret Illuminati is controlling the world, like he was just trolling people. There's a really great podcast called Behind the Bastards, and they did like an 8-part series on the history. What's up?
I listen to that podcast sometimes.
Yeah, Behind the Bastards did a very good 8-part series breaking down the history of the Illuminati. And essentially, man, it was just a joke that got out of hand. And it's insane how, like, one joke can, like, fuck up the entire world. Because there's people that have, like, based their whole lives on that Illuminati shit. And I'm not going to lie, when I was, like, 12, 13, I was deep off into that. You know what I mean? I was deep off into the Illuminati.
I even have a YouTube video about it. I think it's still there. I don't know.
You made a YouTube video about the Illuminati?
Yeah, I was exactly 13.
Yes. You were like, look, Jay-Z is throwing up secret satanic symbols. When Beyonce throws her ass in a circle, that's secretly the sixth circle of hell. Dog, the fuck, man. I'm sorry, I had to pause it right there. Oh, man.
Did you leave it where you're at?
Oh, yeah, I'm at 103. I'm at 103.
Okay.
But I knew this shit was going to talk about MK Ultra. I'm not going to lie. This documentary, you know it's a white documentary when they talk about MK Ultra and not COINTELPRO. You know it's a white boy shit. Huh?
What's COINTELPRO?
What's COINTELPRO? Come on now. You joking. You trolling.
I mean, I might know what it is, but I don't know what that means, that word. Like COINTELPRO, what's that?
COINTELPRO.
I might know the content.
COINTELPRO was the counterintelligence program by the FBI. Essentially, they were trying to take down all the subversive groups in the U.S., like the Communist Party, the radical unions, and especially the Black Panther Party. And it was headed by J. Edgar Hoover.
That's because your timeline is off.
The COINTELPRO and MK Ultra coexisted at the same time, I think.
Yeah, but that's COINTEL comes like slightly like this is 50s, 60s. I think we're talking about is late 60s, 70s.
Okay, you're right. I thought MK Ultra ran through the 60s too, and then even into the 70s.
When was the peak Cold War? I don't think it went to the 70s. I think it was like 60s or so. I'm not sure. I don't think, no, for sure it didn't went to the 70s. The MK, no.
Anyway.
But maybe it did. Maybe I'm wrong.
Anyway, white men are obsessed with MK Ultra. Black men are obsessed with COINTELPRO the way white men are obsessed with MK Ultra. Black men think about
He gave like 3 minutes to it.
I know, but
like 3 minutes to MK Ultra.
I know, but come on, like it's like mentioning it. Like out of all the CIA, FBI, deep state programs, like MK Ultra was basically the government trolling. They were fucking around. They invented LSD and they wanted to see how many people, are really bi deep down inside. COINTELPRO was like they were just trolling, bro. But COINTELPRO was like, hey, how can we get the Black Messiah to fucking crucify himself? You know what I mean? Like COINTELPRO is on another level. But I'm sorry, I'm ranting. Any comments before we press play again?
Not really. Let's go.
All right, man.
Dr. Cameron's experiments were a disaster. His brutal techniques succeeded only in wiping the minds of those he experimented on. He then found he could put nothing back. He totally failed to implant any new memories or any new ways of seeing the world. His patients found themselves in a world that had no meaning any longer.
When I was discharged from the Yale Memorial, I felt like an alien from another world, visiting this world. I knew I was different, and I didn't know how to become like everybody else. And it was a very lonely, scary place to be. This is your husband. What's husband? What's making love?
In the world of individualism that was about to come, psychology was going to play a powerful role because it said it could help to change what was inside people's minds. But what Cameron and the CIA had done showed in a dramatic and extreme way the weakness of this. They had assumed that most of what people felt came from within them, and to make them happier, you just had to alter what was inside their brains. What was forgotten was the other view, that what shapes how people feel is the society around them. Above all, the structure of power that not only controls their lives, but also how they feel. And if you want to change the way people feel, you have to find a way to change that too.
Memory is wrapped in what society has decided we should feel like. You should cry at funerals. I found myself not crying at a funeral, and I felt just fine. And I thought, gee, there's something the matter with me. I'm not crying. I should cry. Everybody else is crying. But there wasn't that need to.
Don't you just say that to me!
Michael de Freitas decided that he was going to become a revolutionary. He was going to challenge and expose the corrupt old structures of power that he believed still haunted and controlled the minds of the English people, even though their empire was gone.
I can't live in this system. I don't like it. I don't want it. I want to destroy everything, down to the ground, the lot, ashes. That's what I want.
All three, Jiang Qing, Michael de Freitas, and Kerry Thornley, knew that their struggle was with the forces from the old power of the past that they believed were still lodged in people's minds. But at the same time, quietly rising up was a new system that seemed as if it would never have to face that struggle, because it would be completely free of the past. The laws of human thought that George Boole had created had become the central structure of all thinking machines, computers, because it fitted perfectly with the binary switching system inside them, either 0 or 1. And it was used by the machines to create endless branching pathways of binary logic, called algorithms. Out of that was going to come the dream of artificial intelligence, machines that could think independently, that could then order and manage the world as a rational system, not driven by the dangerous ideologies of the past. Back in the
All right, before we watch the last 4 minutes, we're going to stop here at the 1 hour and 10 minute mark. What I'm thinking about, because they're talking more about human thought and stuff like that, it makes me think like the weakest part about us humans is our brains. Like it's our biggest power, but it's also our biggest weakness because it's so easily manipulated. And a part of me wishes like our thinking processes weren't in our brains, but another part of our body. That way it would be harder to manipulate. There was this doctor back in like the early 20th century. His name was Leo Stanley. And what he tried to do is that he believed men thought with their testicles. So he thought if I take the criminals, cut out their testicles, and put in good testicles in their body, then that they will have better outcomes. And a part of me wishes Leo was right. A part of me wishes like, you just have better testicles, you'll be able to make better choices. I'm sorry, I just went on this little stupid ass rant, but I'm just here alone chilling. What's up, Nelson? What you think?
I mean, I kind of agree. Like the brain betrays itself all the time.
But this is interesting. I didn't know that part about the guy Poole, how his algorithms for human thought helped lay the groundwork for computing.
Oh yeah, I mean, I had already spoiled that. Yeah. Like, what did you think of this MK Ultra when she said she went to an hotel or something and she forgot her memories? What?
Yeah, I mean, if they put some new testicles in there, then she would have had her own thoughts.
I mean, what happened there, man?
I don't know, man. MK Ultra is wild. I mean, there was a wild time.
Did you see like?
Mm-hmm.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I don't have nothing to say.
Did you see like all those antelopes? I think, and from a Kenyan colony.
Nah, I didn't see it. Why? What about them?
Just go a little bit backwards. You see, they have like a wall of antelopes.
Nah, I didn't see that.
They're from the Kenyan camera. The extraction they did.
I missed that.
But yeah, I think the documentary made a really good point. These guys, they were thinking, they're making like this really neutral, impartial, cold machines, but they are made of out of a context of control and racism and empire.
I'm confused about the Michael DeFreitas storyline because all he said was, "I don't like this system. I want to burn it down," and that's it. Like, what did Michael DeFreitas stand for? What was he known for?
I mean, he's standing against racism. He says the whole thing is racist. Everything is condemned. The next episode, he meets Malcolm X.
Where's Malcolm X?
He meets Malcolm X, and Malcolm gives him a nickname, which is a little more known.
He becomes Michael X. How have I never heard of this guy? This is actually a pretty good documentary because this nigga's name is Michael X.
Don't skim it because there's spoilers. Don't watch it because the documentary goes to wild places and don't spoil yourself.
Okay,
like,
I'm just saying.
The Wikipedia after.
All right, I know there's like a young British man who has like converted to Islam at least 3 or 4 times. This nigga is like his hero. Like this guy here. He's like, bruv, Michael X, bruv, top dog, top man, solid. Oh my god, I won't look, but Michael X is crazy. Michael.
There's a movie. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie, but there's a movie with Jason Statham.
Yeah.
And he's a character, not the real. Like there's the guy who's Mike.
Yeah.
In the movie, not the real Mike. You know what I'm saying?
Done.
They brought a real life person into the movie, but
that's crazy.
The bank robbery movie.
Or one of his lines like, "It's white supremacy, isn't it?" Colonialism, bruv.
Gonna bring down the system.
You gotta bring down the system. I can't. Dog, Michael X is crazy. I'm sorry. I'm all right. Now I gotta see. All right, we're gonna watch the last 4 minutes and then give final thoughts. Hold up. Let's go fast forward. All right, I'm gonna go to the 10-minute mark. All right. Yeah. Hold on. All right, I'm letting it run.
Yeah.
And it was used by the machines to create endless branching pathways of binary logic, called algorithms. Out of that was going to come the dream of artificial intelligence, machines that could think independently, that could then order and manage the world as a rational system, not driven by the dangerous ideologies of the past. But back in the 1960s, as the engineers began to build the first neural networks, what they had forgotten was that the system of thought they were creating inside the machines did have its own history. That it had been born out of a time when science had become deeply involved in questions of power and control in the British Empire. That what lay behind the computer logic was the aim of simplifying human thought, which would finally allow you to colonise the last free outpost, the human mind. But unlike the old empires, where power was visible, this power would be hidden in remote places, in the servers. But something else from the past would also find its way into those servers. In the political and economic chaos of the early 1970s, conspiracy theories were going to spread like wildfire through the counterculture. As they did, the fake conspiracies about the Illuminati and the secret rulers of the world that Kerry Thornley thought that no one could ever believe began to get mixed up with the true conspiracies, like MKUltra. And more people began to follow Jim Garrison's theory of time and propinquity, looking for patterns of a hidden power in America, not for logic or meaning any longer. And when the internet was created, almost immediately those patterns of suspicion would move into the data and multiply endlessly across the system. And that dark paranoia that 200 years before had spread across the prairies and the mountains among isolated settlers, now spread across the virtual world, among isolated individuals sitting alone in front of their screens. And suspicion and distrust crept back into what was going to be the new system of power.
I swear to God, like, the British are just like hard R's. The British are hard R's, bro. They be throwing chairs and shit, just ratchet, just ghetto as all hell. I'm sorry. It's just, God damn it. Anyway, that was a pretty good documentary. I'm not gonna lie. What'd you think? What's your final comments?
Yeah, I really like the documentary. It's pretty cool. It was a good setup episode. I'm glad you liked it. I don't really like to show documentaries to people, but I like to show this documentary around, I feel like that conspiracy guy, like that flat earth, you need to watch this documentary, man. They really expose everything.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of... it's kind of true for this documentary.
No, this was a very good choice, and I really enjoyed it. Just because I'm critical of it doesn't mean I don't like it. I'm very interested to see the next... How many episodes? 2 or 3? How many?
5?
There's 5. I only see 4. Oh, no, I see 6 here.
There's 6? Oh, there's 6.
There's 6. Yeah, we might do them day by day. But very good choice. I definitely... This is the thing. If you walk away from it and you kind of don't know what to think from it, I think that's the purpose of it. Like, this documentary has the point of making no point and leaving you feeling, I think, a bit speechless. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, you're still digesting it.
That's true.
So, whose story are you most curious about?
I want to know what Michael X says, bruv. what adventures will he get into? Michael X, the radical from Lincolnshire. There's a man from Essex. Anyway. Oh no, this is cool, man. This is cool.
Did
Go
you
ahead.
like the music choices? Did you like the documentary?
Music is interesting. It's a bit all over the place. I mean, it's not what I would usually listen to, that's for sure. That Who Killed Bambi song is kind of funny. I like how the ending is like...
Hospital, the KKK.
Yeah. I mean, it ties well to the theme of the song. Like, Bambi is obviously like JFK, right? And then they show Castro, the mafia, who killed Bambi, right? Like, and I think it goes to show like how conspiracies make confusion, right? They cause confusion.
Yeah, and confusion is another method of control.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know, man. I think I'll wrap it up here. But, yeah, man, I enjoyed this call-in show. We'll probably do another one for episode 2 tomorrow. Because I got time.
I also enjoyed it.
Yes. Good choice. Good suggestions.
I have time tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday, right?
Yeah, tomorrow's Saturday. It doesn't feel like a Friday. It feels like a Thursday for me. But, yeah, definitely, man. We'll be in touch.
See you. Have a good day. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Catch you all next time. And peace.